I'm Robin Lundberg, joined now by Yankees legend Bernie Williams, who will be returning to the Bronx to perform the national anthem on September 5th as part of the program with Tune In to Lung Health he's working with to help bring awareness to interstitial lung disease. And Bernie, considering the season the Yankees have had, how happy you think the fans are going to be to see you?
Well, I always enjoy going there. I think that fans, they like seeing, me and my teammates every time we show up. It reminds them a little bit of, the old times. And when I say old times, I'm talking about the 90s. So that's kind of funny. But it is always a good time to go to the stadium and feel the love, from the fans, as they remember our teams, from the 90s.
That never gets old, right?
No, it never gets old. It's actually I get to appreciate it even more now that I'm getting older, and I know that I can't play like that anymore. So it's always good to be remembered.
What do you think went wrong with the Yankees this season?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think there's a couple of pivotal points during the course of the season that sort of marked some things that happened with the club. I think when Aaron Judge went down when he had that foot injury, in LA. I think the team took a big dive, missing their biggest hitter and a guy that was coming from a tremendous season last year. That was a big blow. And not having the opportunity to have the starting rotation like full on, for the full year, they signed Rondon and Nasty Nestor, and they both went down with injuries, and they kind of had to scramble to put some rotation arms together. I think there's a plethora of factors. I think some people sort of underperform, up to their expectations, and I think it was just a combination of things that marked the dismal year that they had this year.
Not all fans might be as sensible in their reasoning as you have been here, and some are calling for the heads of Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman, who, of course, has been there a long time. What do you make of that idea of overhauls to the front office and manager?
Yeah, well, I mean, the front office, is as good as the players are performing on the field. And it's kind of, I think that's probably the easiest way out to sort of say, hey, let's get rid of the manager. Let's get rid of the general manager and all that stuff. And I think that's probably the easier route. But I think it just goes down to the players not really playing to their own expectations, because I know that playing for the New York Yankees brings a lot of expectations individually. They want to be part of the history of the team and part of the championship tradition that this team has. So I know they're trying really hard to do the best they can, and it just doesn't seem that it's going to happen for them this year.
Another thing that made some headlines this week is Harrison Bader apparently found out he was waived on the clubhouse TV. I know it's a different day and age. Is that par for the course nowadays, or does that say something to you?
Well, yeah, it's always hard to be put in that situation and then not have somebody from the front office kind of sit you down, whether it's a manager or general manager or somebody, before he kind of gets to the media. I don't know what happened there. I'm not really that in, as far as being in the loop, with that those situations happen. But I know Harrison had to take it really hard because he was considered himself a local guy, a guy that grew up watching this same team that he's playing for now play. And I know that he was really proud of wearing the pinstripes. So that he has probably going to have to take that really hard.
From a broader baseball perspective, obviously Shohei Ohtani's been a story, and he's dealing with that torn UCL in his elbow. If you were giving him recommendations for his career going forward and this dual threat pitching hitting deal, what would those be?
I would say as entertaining and as amazing as he is, just having that, being on the top of the game in both disciplines, pitching and hitting, he's gonna, it's just kind of showing up. I mean, this might be the beginning of a trend where you have a guy that is taking such a toll on his body, by hitting and pitching at this level. I mean, pitchers do that one thing for a reason, and it's because it's like really hard to be just one, be a pitcher. So he is adding, being a slugger, one of the best sluggers in the game in the last, 2 or 3 years. I think at some point he's going to have to make a decision and pick one. the one that he probably feels the most comfortable with.
Who's a better hitter, Shohei Ohtani or Aaron Judge?
That's a tough one, man. I think whoever gets to stay there the longest and has the more of a free injury situation probably has the opportunity to put some great numbers out there. There's no question about the talent that Aaron Judge has and what he was able to do last year. Breaking the record in the American League in home runs. But I mean, to have Shohei Ohtani do what he does, plus pitching, I think overall, you got to give Shohei a little bit of a nod because of that extra, very remarkable thing that he's doing. Pitching and hitting at the same time at the best level in the world. Playing in the big leagues. In the United States of America.
Yeah, especially if he were to focus on just the hitting, as you alluded to before. Last one before we get to the work you're doing with Tune Into Lung Health. The Hall of Fame. Every year, it seems like some of the names are less, let's say, marquee names. When you sit there and you see that, do you think to yourself, Bernie Williams, Hall of Famer?
You know what? I like to be, included in the conversation, but that's as far as I get, because I have no idea of how, these things are decided upon. All I have now is, the memories of my career and how great it was. I think, being in the Hall of Fame will be certainly a great honor, and I'll be the icing on the cake on one of the best times that I spent in my life. Playing baseball with the New York Yankees and winning all those championships and having those great moments in my individual personal career. They're kind of going into a certain trend where you have people going into the Hall of Fame with numbers that are similar to the numbers that I had in my career. And if I am considered, it will be a great treat and a great honor to be able to do that.
Now, you are going back to the Bronx, as I mentioned, September 5th, performing the national anthem to bring awareness to interstitial lung disease. I know this is an important cause for you. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what you're doing and why you're doing it?
Yeah, my father, Barnaby Williams Sr., died from idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis in 2001. And that is one of the most common forms of interstitial lung disease. I was able to team up with Boehringer Ingelheim with this program called Tuning to Lung Health, which is a program designed to utilize the power of music to deal with the hardships and all the things that come with dealing with these interstitial lung diseases. It's just a great thing that the Yankees and Major League Baseball are giving me an opportunity to spread the word about this and have the opportunity to help a lot of people and bring awareness to these diseases that may not be as well known as other diseases, but they're still pretty common and pretty present in our lives in our communities.
Bernie, really appreciate the time. Thank you. Pleasure to chat.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Take care.